Welcome to SCN Corporate Connect. I'm Greg Greenberg, reporting live from United Nations Plaza. My guest today is Todd Morley. He's the chairman of G2 Investment Group. Welcome, Todd.
Thank you.
All right, well, it's good to have you here. How does G2 incorporate ESG principles, environmental, sustainable, and governance into its investing?
Okay. So a little background. I was a co-founder of Guggenheim Partners, and we had a very specific approach to managing assets and had a different view about how assets performed over long periods of time instead of using silly labels like alternative asset management. So I decided to go non-executive after a bit and started G2 Investment Group with the idea of investing in assets of need. And so if you look at great fortunes, they tend to own things for a very long time as compared to a very short period of time like a hedge fund or a private equity fund or a mutual fund. And so then you think, what can I own for a very long time? Well, it's assets of need: water, food, energy, power, etc. And so mindful of a few things. One, structure. How can you own those things for a long time? If you own real estate in a private equity fund, you own it for 7 years and it's sold, right? And so we don't like that model. We would rather own things forever, as Mr. Buffett has taught us all. Then secondly, with one of our partners, Trevor Nielsen, we decided that the world of impact really needed to be isolated. And when we thought about it, the things that need to be impacted are exactly those assets of need. We need to produce water better. We need to produce food more efficiently. We need to produce energy much more efficiently. And the technological changes that are happening, Ray Kurzweil is one of our patron saints, right? The law of accelerating returns is affecting everything. Everybody is aware of that feeling of technology and how it's seeping into all facets of life. So we decided to create a separate company called Y2X Investments. Trevor Nielsen, Howard Buffett, and a star-studded cast of people from the industry with a focus on making impact investments, but embracing the idea of permanent capital and owning assets. People talk about sustainability. Well, you can't really sustain your mission if you leave in 5 years.
Well, one sustainable idea that a lot of people are talking about, especially today because it's International Women's Day, and we're kicking off the Decade of Women initiative here at the UN, is gender equality.
Yes.
So how do you incorporate that into your investing?
So we, as a group, then invested in a company called Brava Investments, led by an amazing woman, Natalie Molina Nino. And Natalie has a tech background, built a big crowdsourcing company and sold it, very successful, professor at Barnard and so on. And so we've created a gender lens investment company with her. And when you look at the injustices in the world, but also just the complete stupidity of missing these moments, you know, the deal flow that accrues to a firm like Brava is deal flow that's just not going to accrue to 5 guys. I mean, it's just not. And so we've just completed our first transaction, financing a company that will have the first ever generic over-the-counter birth control pill.
Are you seeing a lot of blockchain in your deal flow? I imagine you must, because it's been another big topic here at the UN over the course of these past few days.
Yeah. So the blockchain has, there's a lot of misunderstanding in the crypto world. I wish that we would use words that better describe what's happening. So the cryptocurrency thing, I think, has misled people. But the blockchain itself is a further disintermediation of the world caused by technology. And so if you take Ethereum, it's basically, as one of the co-founders said, a decentralized World Wide Web. So the large intermediaries, I call them the guardians at the gate of capitalism, are going to be challenged, because if I know how to structure a deal, why do I have to go to a private equity fund? Why do I have to go to an investment bank? I can go out through the blockchain, bind myself to you with goods and services through a smart contract, and you've just taken out massive friction And so we can set the terms of our transaction. And so if you take gender lens investing and you go to the traditional providers of capital, 2-3 years ago, you probably wouldn't get much of an audience. Today, it's a very hot and important topic. But when I go out to the blockchain, you're immediately global, and you're touching people who have the intention to make this work. And so the blockchain is essential for new ideas like that. They'll move much faster, and they'll be global.
How scared should Wall Street be about this move toward the blockchain?
Well, it depends on how they respond. If they pretend it's not there, I think they should be afraid. If they embrace it and use it in different ways, then they should like it. I mean, Wall Street clears through the clearing system DTCC. The whole thing should be on the blockchain, and there are people working on that, right? So that would save Wall Street a lot of money.
And how are you staying ahead of Wall Street? You're going through a transformation of your own over at G2, correct?
Well, yeah. So we you know, it's a lot easier for speedboats to move than, you know, aircraft carriers, and so you know, some of these early, you know, ICOs and whatnot, some are terribly structured like .com deals, and others will turn into the next Googles. But it's easier for smaller groups of people to be more agile and to take an idea and move it quickly. And so those deals aren't that big for, you know, JP Morgan. Even if they're all work, it won't move their needle. But to a group of private investors, it's going to move your needle. And to the subject of, you know, the decade of women, it's going to move that needle fast.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for coming on and talking
Sure.
about it. And thank you for watching SCN Corporate Connect.